Hello everybody, welcome back to me with another brand new video, and I'm back here again to discuss the latest development in One Piece story. So, with the previous chapter, as Luffy begins attacking Kaido, he tells Momonosuke to use his dragon teeth to bite the Emperor. Momonosuke does so after grappling with his spear, causing the Emperor great pain. Luffy proceeds to loudly encourage Momonosuke and declare that the two of them will defeat Kaido. And this is heard by the fighter on the live floor, giving the alliance great encouragement. Kaido and Momonosuke's fight through the air does result in the creation of a storm cloud, which blocked the moon and forced Inarashi and Nekomomoshi out of their Sulong forms, resulting in Jack and Perospero gaining the advantage in their respective fights. However, Luffy and Kaido then engage in a clash that splits the heaven, resulting in the moon becoming visible again. The two Minks ruler then reactive their Sulong form and unleashes finishing blow against their opponent. But before progressing to the review of this latest chapter, if you are still watching and enjoying it, know this, I love you all and appreciate you guys. Please be advised that this video will contain One Piece manga spoiler. Please proceed with caution and you have been warned. So, without any further delay, let's jump to the review. With this latest chapter, we would pick up right from where Nekomomoshi's battle had concluded, as Perospero was completely defeated and Carrot would lead to hug her victorious master. Carrot would be won about accidentally transforming, while Nekomomoshi himself would have to question what could have caused such a sudden shift in the weather. And from there, we would make our way back to the rooftop as Yamato would recount the adventures of a Lord Orange journal, and specifically the clash between the Whitebeard and Roger, which is described in it. From here, both Yamato and Momonosuke would simply observe in shock as the fist of a Luffy and the spike club of a Kaido would repel one another with the conqueror's haki rippling around them. Now, the reverberation of this clash was also causing tremors all throughout the rest of the structures. However, this point Yamato was beginning to feel the results of his battle with Kaido previously, as blood would spill out over the eye, as he would now consider himself to be a bit naive to think that he could properly guard against them. Luffy would then call out to Yamato and tell him to help out Momonosuke, who he was somewhat upset with considering he still had to yet to get a complete hold of himself. To which Momonosuke would express that it is hard to break old habits so quickly. But with that, Yamato would climb aboard and apologize for having split up with Momonosuke previously. But now, seeing that the two were getting out of the dodge, Kaido would rush off and attempt to stop them. With this, a fearful Momonosuke would call out to Kinemon and Kiku to lend him their strength as he leaned over the edge of the roof shakily. Yamato would call for Momonosuke to hurry up as he blocked the attack of his father. In the meanwhile, a battle Yamato was in no condition to handle at the moment, but thankfully, Luffy would stop the Yonko dead in his track and wraps his leg around the neck of the beast. From here, Luffy would then call out to Yamato, who immediately knew what he wanted to say. Luffy wanted Kaido all to himself, as Luffy had a big old smile on his face. Momonosuke was rushing downward in the fear, believing that this is the end. But quickly Yamato, knowing how Kaido's ability worked, would tell Momo to try and grab hold of the sky, as in the reality, dragon don't actually fly. In order to move throughout the air, dragon conjure clouds to be used as a footholds, what are known as a flame clouds, and knowing this, Momo was able to move freely through the air. But from there, suddenly several boulders was hurled towards it as Yamato would notice and break them apart prior to the impact. Onigashima was beginning to fall apart, what was quite the monumental development, as this means that Kaido's power is in fact weakening. His flame clouds were becoming unstable as were unable to support the bedrock anymore, what Momonosuke surely knew would spell disaster for the people of Wano below, as he would suddenly slam his head into the side of it, claiming to have gotten bigger to protect such a thing from ever happening. Yet, to Yamato, these efforts were futile. At this point, Onigashima was only 5 minutes away from touchdown on the mainland. For this reason, Yamato would urge Momonosuke to use his flame cloud in Kaido's instead, as he was too now a lost dragon as well. And this was the very reason how Kaido was moving the island to begin with. However, Momonosuke wasn't too sure of himself, considering he had only just learned how to fly and all of this was new to him. Not to mention, there was no guarantee that this power would work exactly like Kaido's. But to Yamato, the sheer fact that Momonosuke was able to summon Flame Cloud at all was more than enough for at least a decent shot. The alternative being that they do nothing and let everyone in the capital be crushed. Furthermore, going on to say that things would be even worse if the cloud were to suddenly leap on account of Kaido fluttering. Because for such a thing to happen would mean that the island would fall to an even more frightening degree. Yamato says that Wano is currently filled to the brim with weapons and the gunpowder. For the island to collide with the surface, the country would essentially become a massive bomb. And they have no means of evacuation that would be swift enough to protect the capital. At this rate, if Onigashima made landfall, it would no doubt explode and utterly destroy everyone, friends and foe alike. And with all this concern in mind, Momonosuke would suggest that they stop Luffy from fighting Kaido. And to answer this, Yamato would knock Momonosuke over the head, telling him not to be stupid. Yamato would then admire Luffy for the moment here by saying that he chose to place everyone's hopes and dreams on his shoulder, even when he himself couldn't barely stand. And so, how could they possibly stop him at the pivotal time like this? Luffy was the only one who could possibly stand to defeat Kaido. To tell him of this impending danger would only add to the burden on his shoulders. They would have to figure things out on their own. But now, shifting back to the live floor, King was going wild and throwing and everything in his way. Zoro would do his best to defend against his assault, but King's attack would throw him elsewhere. Here, he would catapult into the direction of Frankie's, who would recognize and subsequently catches him. Zoro would admit that his opponent was plenty strong. Not that was much of a surprise to him. To this, Frankie would offer a hand in fighting, but Zoro would refuse. This was a fight he wanted for himself. And meantime, King too would have a conversation with a fellow crewmates, as Queen would berate him for himself nearly cleave into him as well during that outburst, while King didn't seem all too bothered by. But at this point, the grunts around them would notice that Zoro had actually managed to cut into King's mask. And this was clearly the reason that King was so angry, as nobody has ever seen King's real face. The All-Star would then begin to approach once more. Zoro would tell Frankie to get out of the doors, as King would suddenly fly straight towards Zoro at alarming speed. Zoro prepared a counter-attack for this. The two clashed, but afterward it would appear as though Zoro took the losing end of that exchange, and yet again he would send flying. Now breaking straight through a wall, Zoro was clearly feeling the pain. But even then, he would see that King did not plan on letting up in the slightest and was coming for another assault. With this, he too would completely crash through the side of the skull. At this point, Zoro was plummeting downwards but would use a move to cushion the fall. Thankfully, he hadn't completely fallen off the island. However, Zoro was pissed and would tell King that he should at least use a blade when he goes for the kill. But what he just pulled was unforgivable. A level of contempt. King also fell for Zoro in regards to unforgivable, as we would now see a bit of a King's face exposed through the marks, and that was the end of the chapter. So what do you guys think about the latest chapter and the review of this One Piece? Please let me know in the comments, which will for sure help me in the future uploads. So that is it for this chapter. As always, if you like our anime reviews and theories videos and you want us to keep it going, just leave a like and comments. It only takes a second, but it actually helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. But of course, if you are new to this channel and haven't subscribed yet, make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications to never miss an upload. We just upload every day and we love to have you in our conversation. If there are any specific topic you are burning up to see, let me know in the comments, and while you wait for me to make that video, feel free to check out my growing playlist. Once again, thank you so much, and until next time, peace.